How do you prepare students for a future with AI? A lot of people are asking about this. AI is not going to go away. So, what do we do? Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm a digital psychologist and I decode psychology so you can use tech smarter. I've seen both spectrums where AI is integrated in everything or where schools are trying to ban AI. And it's a very nuanced discussion because when do you introduce AI to students? And what are the skill sets that you need to teach students that will translate over into a future with AI? And so, regardless of where a student is, what means they have to access AI, one of the biggest things that I've talked about before is this idea of metacognition. And metacognition is the ability to think about how you think. So, how do you solve problems? This is a fundamental skill set for problem solving in general. And this works for somebody on a farm, similarly to somebody that is coding. It's basically how do you assess a situation and identify how to solve your problems and move towards your goals. Now, let's talk about students that may have gotten through a certain point. So, let's say high school, university. And the problem is that with many schools, we focus a lot on outcomes and the final product. But unfortunately, when AI can help you create a pretty good final product, it doesn't necessarily mean that grading that final product can accurately assess your ability to think through problems. And so, how do we reintroduce the ability for people to show their thinking? So, there's a couple ways to go about this. Can we look at their brainstorm before they even touch a screen? When a student turns in their final output, can they explain what they changed and what they did not, what they pushed back on, what were some of the assumptions that they fed into the AI that they thought were important? There's a lot of ways to actually work with AI to force students to learn how to use AI in a more critical way rather than just looking at the final output. We need to discourage students from just copying and pasting. We need to teach students the skill set of critically evaluating AI work and putting their own perspective into the output. So, even if you tried to ban the tool, I think that it's very hard to do so. With that in mind, how do you protect the skill set of metacognition and encourage and show how people use metacognition while using AI and have students practice doing that? This is the bigger question that we need to think about. How do we change the way that we grade thinking? How do we help students show their thinking process even in the face of using AI? This is a very complex discussion. So if you want to know more, you can head over to my Substack and I'll see you in the next one.